depth about how this works. If you have any questions, if you have a project you want to talk to us about, please feel free to call us. We actually have, I'm going to take back this, I think the next slide is just our information. I was going to say that, you can go on our website. We actually have on our Contact Us page the ability to set up an appointment. So please feel free to do that. And then with that, I'd like to go to our chat. And Marcus, could you, I think we had a few come in. Could you run us through the questions so far?
Yeah, sure. Well, someone already got to the question from Brent Graves regarding nonprofit status. But Abby, if you could answer the first question first, which is, can you speak to the percentage of projects that you are seeing in the surrounding municipalities that are using CPACE funding for solar versus other projects?
So, in Virginia, as I think I just mentioned, we are anxiously awaiting our first project. We do have a few in the queue in the process. So I think I'm going to actually have Jessa answer that, because she can actually speak to Maryland. We definitely have a few in DC, but if you can speak to Maryland and just what you've seen in terms of CPACE versus other kinds of solar financing, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, I think we've actually had a pretty healthy mix of solar projects in our portfolio of closed projects in Maryland. Like I said, we did have one, I would call it a major solar project, in which the entire project financed was for a very large solar array. Other than that, most of the projects that have been financed in Maryland through CPACE, as well as I believe those solar projects that have been financed in Washington, DC through CPACE, have primarily been projects that incorporate a solar array as one component of a larger construction project. What I can say is that there have been some instances nationwide of CPACE financing being used to finance community solar projects, for example, as well as solar PPAs. So we haven't necessarily done a good example of one of those projects here locally, but it is possible to finance those types of solar projects as well.
Yes, thanks, Jessa. Absolutely. I do also remember one project in DC where they actually had a green roof, and they were able to also incorporate solar with that. So there's really creative ways that people are using CPACE. I'd say that sometimes, I've noticed on some projects I've been involved in where, you kind of put it out there that you can use CPACE, and all of a sudden the architects get, really their creative juices going. They go, what about this? Would this work? And if that saves energy, and you actually kind of expand the project sometimes because of the benefits of, you start with solar, but you end up doing other things you hadn't planned on because you realize you have that opportunity to use CPACE. Marcus, do we have any other questions? I thought I saw one or two.
Yeah. So the people in the chat have been very helpful in answering each other's questions, which has been fantastic, and you love to see it. I think that this question, though, I think it would be great if you could speak a little bit more to it, which is, can CPACE be used for healthy building improvements such as air filtration, touchless doors, and faucets, etc.? I think just that's a very timely question, and something that I think that you could speak a lot to.
Thanks a lot, Marcus. Absolutely. And thanks, Kevin, for that question. Yes, I think, we are looking at how we can use resiliency and the definition of resiliency to be able to incorporate things like indoor air quality. That's obviously a concern right now. So I saw some chats back and forth between Jerry and Kevin about ionization, things like that. So yes, I believe that, although in Dumfries it's not specifically spelled out, the fact that we can do resiliency because it's not prohibited, I think that is something that I think all of us would be happy to explore. The same with the doors and whatnot. I mean, I think you know, in itself, those would be very small projects, but if that's part of a larger project, I certainly think that that makes a lot of sense in terms of addressing the current pandemic. Jessa, do you have anything to add?
No, you covered it.
You know, that's another, you know, just in terms of, you know, it's kind of a sensitive issue. You know, think about the fact that we don't want to take advantage of the fact that we're in a really trying time right now, but it's also something where we're going to have to start potentially also developing and incorporating systems where we actually may become less energy efficient. For example, if we have to start bringing in more fresh air into a system, you know, that's going to actually hinder energy efficiency. So there are other things can we do to help mitigate that increase in energy or offset it through renewable options, things like that, or looking at ways of just really helping, you know, entities like hospitals or healthcare facilities be able to build new facilities that take into account this new normal that we're in. So I certainly, you know, I'm thinking about even some of the structures that were developed over in Wuhan that Johnson Controls put together. And I think those kinds of, you know, they had HVAC components. They certainly had, they used the most efficient or the most high performance equipment, but it really incorporated IEQ in that. So I thought, I think also one other participant, I believe it was asked if, I think it was someone from the town actually asked if we're going to have the presentation available. We are also going to be sending this out after the presentation, as well as any, you know, any follow-up questions you may have. I wanted to point out really quickly, I noticed that you have, I think Jason Halpert of one of the participants here actually clarified about how NGOs can pay property taxes. So to the point of nonprofits, they don't necessarily pay it, but they could. But if they don't, they can use CPACE. And so I just wanted to clarify that. Any other questions regarding the Town of Dumfries program or any way to get involved? What we're really looking for is to just make sure everyone is on board with how it works and the fact that we're all here to really help make it happen. I think we have a new message. Okay, someone said, thank you. That's great. So what we can do for everyone is we're going to send out the kind of replies to some of these questions in the Q&A, and also we will follow up with the presentation. We'll also be, you know, uploading on our website a recording of a part of this presentation, and also we will send out a link to how you can set up a meeting with us to discuss any specific projects or any questions you have about how it works, and anything you want to know just about CPACE in general. All of us, you know, who are part of this program actually work around the country, so we're familiar with all the ways that CPACE is being used and will be soon be used here. And I also wanted to, yeah, as per Derek here's comments, thank you, Derek. Thank you so much to the Town Council for really helping us, helping the town be a leader in Virginia. I believe you're the first town and certainly one of the first cities to have adopted CPACE. So we really appreciate your leadership in this. We look forward to working with you going forward. Also want to thank my co-panelist, Jessica Coleman, for her PFS, who is helping us work on developing CPACE with us in Northern Virginia in particular. Also Marcus Glumstead, who is helping us with the chat, and my team, Deb Rosiello and Joe Bianco, who are here on the tech. So unless anyone has any further questions, I hope you have a great afternoon, and we look forward to hearing from you very soon.
Thank you for joining, everyone.
Thank you. Take care. Stay safe.